if you think of 0 to 21 as being a pattern of seasons, like when I say pattern recognition, the pattern that has changed humanity the most, the first recognized pattern that we changed and started to use was seasons. Until then, we were hunter-gatherers and starving to death unless we could find the right food. It's total stress. Way more stress than we have today, right?
Yeah.
But then what happened? We realized, wow, there are these seasons, and if I plant in the spring, I protect it during the summer, I get to reap in the fall, have enough for winter, I can do the whole thing again. Well, if you do the right thing at the wrong time, you get nothing. It doesn't matter how hard you work. So I'm a big believer in looking at what season you are in your life,
Such a great
what
answer.
season you are in history, right? What season I'm in with my family. And so I think a 0 to 21 is springtime. Everything grows in springtime. It's easy to grow things in springtime. If you start a business in springtime, you think you're a genius. You're not a genius, you're just in the right season, right? But then summer comes and things are tested. And God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, has made it so we have an easy time and then we have a tough time to test this, to make us grow. An easy time rewards and a tough time. So summer, think of it as like 22 to 42 roughly. 0 to 21, you're taken care of. I had a childhood that was a little tough, but I was 13 or 14. I had to work to support the family, but I didn't have to make all the money for the food. Someone else was housing me. Someone else was taking care of me. At that stage of life, you're taking in information. 22 to 42, now you go test it, right? Now you go say, well, I was taught all this stuff, but what do I believe? And in the early stages of that season, you think you're invincible. You think you're going to be a multi-billionaire, president of the United States, and have 100 relationships simultaneously, and everyone will be happy, right? And by the time you're 32 or 3 or something like that, you start going, I'm not a billionaire, I'm not the president of the United States, and I can't even one person happy in a relationship. What the hell's going on here? And that's usually when people start to look out for people like you and I who are looking for some wisdom about how to live life in a way that's happy and fulfilling and growing and expanding, because they know they're not invincible. That stage, if you're listening, if you're in that 22 to 42, it is the most painful stage across all studies, most unhappy stage. If you're happy right now, that is awesome. And anyone can be, but most aren't fully happy at that stage. It's the most trying stage. It's the testing time. And if you didn't grow during spring and take care of yourself summer, then you won't reap in the fall. You're going to weep. But if you grew in both those stages, now you go to the third stage. That's, basically 43 to 63. And both these numbers are round, right? Some people are early, some people are late. But in that stage of life, you've accumulated enough skill and knowledge. If you've grown, you know the people, I'm sure you're already experiencing it now. Like I was in Greece and I got stuck. I'm fortunate enough to have a private plane and I'm supposed to fly to Germany and I want to drop my family in Italy so I can have a good time. And they, we had it 2 weeks in advance. They told us what the times would be. And then they changed the times and said I couldn't get out until after my seminar started with 13,000 people from 54 countries, right? And I'm like, and they were immovable. And so okay, my only option is find some other way to get to Athens and fly somewhere else. And it's like, no, at this stage of my life, there aren't very many people on the planet. Who do I know that knows, the prime minister of Greece? So I asked ChatGPT, Tony Robbins, who does he know? It gave me a list. It's like Mark Benioff of Salesforce, one of my dearest friends, and human partners. Peter Diamandis, one of my partners in business.
Yeah.
He's from Greece and he knows them. And went through the whole list. There was like 9 of them. So I called 3 of them and, the poor prime minister got about 9 calls. And next thing I know, no problem. They moved the time and everything else. There's a stage of life that if you've done your job and contributed enough to society, that most of the players or most of the people in the industry, and you've got relationships that are 20 years long or maybe 30 years long. And the talent pool is not elastic. There's only so many people that keep growing. And so you usually know those people and have a role in that. So that stage is where most people have that stage that we can think of as autumn, as the fall, as the reward stage. That's when most people earn the most. That's when most people tend to grow the most. That's when you start to really become a leader in that stage. Now, obviously, it can happen earlier. And then 64 to 84 to 104 to 124, which is the oldest living humans, is the winter stage, which is there's a gradual decline in the body no matter what you do at some stage. And you have to make sure you keep your mental facilities up. But it's also the most magnificent stage because you can make not only a phone call to get your plane out, but you have 40-year relationships now. I've got 5 kids and 5 grandkids. I've got people that I love with my soul, that I would do anything for, do anything for me. I don't know many things in life. I feel closer to God and the universe than I've ever felt in my life. I feel like my life is such a blessing. If my life ended tomorrow, I'd be the most blessed man on earth. I like to continue contributing, but that's not in my hands.
Yeah, we need you around, Tony. Yeah.
But that's not in my hands. Whenever I go, it'll be the right time. So it's just like, I want people to know, and all the studies, by the way, show if you stay healthy, this stage I'm talking about is the most fulfilling stage. And it's a stage where you get to become, an elder statesman, and you're not trying to prove to somebody who the hell you are. You don't play the social media game. You know who the hell you are. If people know you, like people know you're a good person, but if they don't, you don't really care, right? You just go deliver what you're here to deliver and do what you're going to do. So those stages of life, I think, are useful because we're all different, but there's a racetrack to life. And you're not there yet, but there's a stage in your life when your brain will go, there may be more days behind me than ahead of me. That's usually midlife, whatever age